We then personally reached out to all our suppliers and found out our coordinator had been editing all the contracts and changing the balance. As a full-time wedding photographer and a recent bride, I wanted to share with you a few bad vendor experiences that I read online and tell you how you can avoid having the same experience. Here we go. My cousin's wedding, on the day, without warning, their photographer sent someone else to do the photos. He double booked himself and didn't want to refund her. As it turned out, the replacement was barely a trainee and had very little idea what he was doing, even though he talked a big game about how talented he was. In all the excitement of the wedding though, my cousin and her groom just went with it. After the wedding, it took a few months for the photographer to send over any of the pictures, despite lots of chasing. When he did send them, there were less than 100 photos covering the ceremony, dinner, evening party, and post photos too. And only about 5 of them were any good. The rest were out of focus, blurred, heads chopped off, etc. My cousin was devastated. This makes me so sad. Her husband threatened to take him to court for breach of contract or something, and after a lot of arguing, he refunded them and they dropped it. Luckily, they managed to put together a photo album from other people's pictures, but it's still a very sore spot many years later. There should be no excuse to send someone else, especially someone with little experience, to capture some of the most important memories for somebody's life. This brings up a lot of challenges as far as finding a wedding photographer that you can trust. Getting on a face-to-face phone call, video call, whatever you call it, getting on a video call with the photographer before you sign a contract is so important. Not even just a phone call or email communication, but I think seeing someone face-to-face helps you to figure out if you can trust them. Those alarm bells can start going off in your head, and if you have like a bad feeling about a vendor, even if the price seems right, even if it seems appealing, don't do it. Part of my contracts as a photographer is that every gallery is going to have a consistency of style and of the volume of photos that I've promised. If an emergency happens and your photographer has to send someone else to cover the day, their contract should include that that person can provide still a consistency of style and a volume of those quality photos that you were already expecting and that you hired that photographer for. On the day before my wedding, my sister and I were getting our nails done and chatting about how smoothly things have gone so far. Ding, my phone goes off. It's my hairstylist telling me her makeup artist canceled due to a family emergency. Hairstylist was looking for a backup, but wanted to let me know I could look for a backup too. This was stressful, but life happens and I can't blame the makeup artist for her family emergency. So my sister and I are frantically looking for a very last minute backup makeup artist. I text my wedding planner to see if she has any contacts, preferred vendors, or someone who owes her a favor. The wedding planner responds via text, "Did you check Wedding Wire?" I did not respond to her. My internal dialogue was something like this: "Did I check Wedding Wire? Are you effing kidding me right now? What am I paying you to plan for if you're telling me to do the panic hunting?" Anyway, it all worked out in the end. My sister knew someone who was available for a last-minute wedding. She did a good job and got a big fat tip. The useless wedding planner got a below-average review, and I tell this story to everyone I meet who is planning a wedding. So one of the ways that this situation could have been avoided, obviously we can't control emergencies that happen with our wedding vendors, but it should be included in their contract that they can provide a replacement. The wedding industry is full of an amazing network of people who are dedicated to giving couples a great experience on their wedding day. And so if you're hiring a makeup artist or a hair person and they're supplying you with that other service, you need to make sure that they are able to provide that for you, even if the person lined up for that day has an emergency. The other thing that could have been avoided in this story is managing your expectations with your wedding planner. Wedding planners often serve different roles for the wedding day, and so not every wedding planner is a one-size-fits-all. These expectations need to be clear before you hire this wedding planner. Potentially, this wedding planner wasn't supposed to be responsible for backup vendors on the day before the wedding. Perhaps this wedding planner was managing the different aspects of the planning prior to the wedding, and this wasn't in their contract. Obviously, the first thought should have been to help the couple and to help this bride find a new person. Katie, I'm so sorry that this happened to you, but for the rest of you, I really hope that this experience can be eye-opening for you as you talk to vendors. Please do your research, ask those questions beforehand so that you can save yourself a lot of stress in the long run. The last horror story that I want to read you is from Milksky. Don't know if I'm saying that right, apologies, but Milksky said, "Our wedding was postponed because of COVID. I really liked our wedding coordinator because she was good at what she did. We never met in person because she lives overseas, but we did video call a lot. She has plenty of 5-star reviews on her page, lots of followers, and she has had weddings out of the country too, I think. Anyway, one of our suppliers, whom we never had contact with because our coordinator was handling it, wanted to confirm if we really needed the refund because our coordinator texted her saying that I got COVID and my case was so severe we needed the money back." Sorry, not really perfect grammar, so my brain was having trouble reading that. So the coordinator texted the vendor saying that the bride got COVID and needed the money back. Okay, we were so in shock. I was healthy. So we asked our coordinator about it and she said she got it confused with a different client who also has a contract with the same supplier. We checked with the supplier and it turns out they didn't know what client she was talking about. We then personally reached out to all our suppliers and found out our coordinator had been editing all the contracts and changing the balance. Oh my gosh. We made a contract that she has to give us back the $2,000 she took. She sends us $200 every month. Oh my gosh. I don't know how many more people she's scamming, but after we get all our money back, I'll write a review on all of her pages. Good, as you should. I'm very heartbroken about what has happened because I really liked her and I trusted her and I was really looking forward to meet her. Well, I am very sorry, Milksy, that this happened to you. That is terrible. First of all, your wedding coordinator should be CCing you in all the interactions that she's making with other vendors. Every email, contract with other suppliers and vendors should be getting CC'd or forwarded to you so that you're seeing directly what that vendor is saying. If it's in the contract that a wedding coordinator would get a certain fee added onto the different suppliers or vendors, that's understandable and you want to make sure you know those things up front. But there's no reason that you should be in the dark about what's happening with your wedding planning. So I would say that was one of the biggest red flags about this coordinator is the fact that she wasn't including them in any of the communications. And please do your research. Know what things cost and approximately how much you would be charged to make sure that you don't get scammed like this. I definitely thought it was super weird that this coordinator had a lot of good reviews, but definitely when you are looking at vendors, look at their reviews and make sure to pay attention to the really good reviews, but also if there's any really bad reviews. Wedding vendors obviously aren't perfect, so they may make mistakes and they may have a few bad reviews, but like this bride was saying, she was planning to leave a negative review on all the different places that she could find this coordinator. Do your research, check their reviews, ask those questions before you sign a contract with them. Be careful who you trust and make sure that you can see what they're doing if they're coordinating your wedding for you. If you enjoyed hearing some of these wedding horror stories and how to avoid them, I can definitely make more videos like this, so let me know down in the comments if this is something you'd want more of. Please like and subscribe so that more brides can see this and we can help a lot of other people plan a beautiful wedding day. If you enjoyed this video, here's another video I think you'll like.